Today I want to talk about a stressful situation that any one of us can be exposed to when we're driving, from a taillight that's out to speeding, police interactions, concealed carriers or open carriers, just people that carry a gun in general. How do you handle those situations? Another thing that I want to tackle here in this video is your duty to inform. Should you have to inform an officer? Now, some states you have to. As soon as you are asked for your license, you got to give them your CHL or CCW. Other states, interestingly enough, you have no duty to inform, but your CCW is linked to your driver's license. So they already know, so it kind of defeats the purpose there, right? And then states like West Virginia, you have no duty to inform, nor is it linked, but West Virginian state police have access to a CHL database. And then states like New Hampshire, which are few and far between, no duty to inform, and it's not linked either. So we're going to talk about that part of it. Is that right? Should you have to inform? And then also how you should handle those interactions. Now, if you like this type of content, make sure you drop me a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and get into this. First, I want to talk about duty to inform. Should you have to do that? So don't take this the wrong way, right? I do support good police officers, and I think most of them are good. The bad apples are always the ones that get the screen time, right? But I think most of them are good, just like in any profession. You have good and bad plumbers, you have good and bad electricians, you have good and bad teachers, good and bad politicians, mostly bad when it comes to politicians, but regardless, you have good and bad police officers. But I don't really think it's their business or anybody's business for them to know that you're a concealed carrier. You know, it's your right as a citizen to carry guns. Now, maybe I've seen too many videos. Bad apples always get the screen time. And so I've seen police officers, how they interact with people that, carry firearms. And they can, obviously they get super sketched out, almost like, why are you carrying a gun? Almost like I'm the only one that can carry a gun. And I know all police officers don't think like that. So I know somebody's going to grab onto that and be like, oh my God, he's against police. I'm not. But again, it's our right to carry a gun. And I don't think that by me telling them, I feel like now it's raised the probability. Okay, all right, well, I want your gun now for my safety. Well, I want my gun for my safety, you know what I mean? And then it could just kind of escalates things where they don't need to be escalated. Or it can potentially escalate things where they don't need to go, because I'm an American citizen, right? And so I would argue that most concealed carriers that go through the process, they go through the classes, they go to the range, they do training, they take training classes, whatever, are going to be like the lowest threat to officers. And even though they don't know us and we don't know them, the chances of having this bad interaction with somebody that has gone through all these processes to become a concealed carrier is going to be really low. It's almost a balancing act, right? You don't want to give too much information. You want to give them license, registration, proof of insurance, and stay as little as possible. That's my opinion on it. You don't want to give up your rights. They may be the best police officer in the world. You show respect, polite, boom, here you go. And that should be the end of it. I shouldn't have to give up any more information that I don't want to. You know what I mean? Does it make them safer knowing that I'm now a concealed carrier? I don't think so. If you watch some of these police interactions, you'll have, a perpetrator that talks with them for 20 minutes or seemingly 20 minutes, and then they'll pull a gun on them, or some 2 seconds, or others, police officer gets out of the car and they're already shooting, right? And so does it make these situations safer? No, I think it adds another complex piece to the puzzle that really just doesn't need to be there. Now, how do you handle these situations? Now, I am strictly talking like simple infractions. I'm like 5 over the speed limit, or stuff like that. I mean, improper lane changes, that can be dangerous. I understand that. I freaking hate when people don't use their turn signal, but just simple things. I'm not talking about like a hit and run or a murder suspect or something like that. I'm talking very simple interactions. And all of it can be aggravating when you get pulled over against your will. So, and I know it's easier said than done, especially in that moment, but it's almost like you need to calm yourself down before that officer ever gets to the window. Tell yourself, hey man, it's going to be over in a couple minutes, or it could go on a lot longer if I decide that I'm going to be a hard ass with them. Be a hard ass with them. Again, that's balancing your rights and making sure that you retain those rights. Doesn't mean you have to give them everything about you, including your social. It just means respect, be polite, give them the information, say nothing else. Record the conversation. Keep your hands at 10 and 2, especially if you are carrying a firearm. Whether you have a duty to inform or you don't. If you have a duty to inform, you give them all your information plus your CCW, boom, hands go right there. They're going to stay right there. You know, I mean, obviously, if you don't want to record it, you could ask for their body cam footage. I would rather have my own video of it. But somebody needs to have some footage there, right? So that way you can prove, hey, you know, this is what happened, or hey, I just want to protect myself. That's all, you know, not trying to, you know, piss you off or anything, but I just want to protect myself. And so I think that's an important thing, man. You have to balance those rights. But the biggest thing is keeping those hands where they can see them, keeping your threat level as low as possible. Again, they don't know you and you don't know them. They do have a hard job, and so I do respect that as well. So that's the biggest thing, man. Just even if you're not carrying a firearm, you know what I mean? Like it's just keeping your hands where they can see them, not being super sketchy. Taking off your seatbelt can be wary, especially if you've just handed them a CCW, right? And now you're going to reach. It can be a little sketch. So just say, hey man, can I take off my seatbelt? You know what I mean? All right, right hand, boom. There you go. Make as little movement as possible. Hell, keep your seatbelt on. You know, it's probably the best thing. So you're making as little movement as possible. Be polite. Boom. Go on about your day, and everybody goes home safely. Now, I'd love to hear from you. If you've had experiences being pulled over by the police officers and you were concealed carrying, how did that go? If you have any more ideas just like this, leave them down below, and make sure you check out some of the other videos I got linked right in here or here. Big thanks, see you in the next one, and as always, hold them down.